He's coming out. He's not. So I bounced around the district more. I thought I bounced around the district more. He's
today in the school.
everywhere. Out dressing things.
Yeah, my daughter.
Like I did when I started, you know what I mean? You bounce around, you talk principles, get out there.
You do, I just told him. I got him. We're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Good season.
I always get to see you. I'm gonna try to figure out where
This 2 weeks. So.
I'm trying to.
I can't even get used to it. I don't know how you do it.
I know. Well, it's always like I find a good spot, and then now I'm like, nobody wants to this much of their day. Either don't put me on there or
Well, just do what you gotta do. It is what it is.
Young girl.
always help people take their seat.
Yeah, why? You know, I don't know. Who are you? You know, she's my mom works there. I'm like, well, he's your mom. I always.
Look, camera, everybody. Yeah, it's where she puts the camera on.
Where are you sitting?
No way. No.
I think I raised it here, but I'm not sure. I'm just going
Okay, that's right back. I just want to make sure you know. I have lots. No, I have one in my bag.
Wait, how long is the agenda before I start working
Yeah, I mean, someone speaks, you know, so we just
I'm like, is she waving at me? You already said hi. I know. I'm like, I feel like I want to tell you something behind me.
You're like, what am I students now? I'm debating if I want to agree my friends How are you? Yeah, of course. Maybe we can. I'm so excited.
She's like, I want to do it. He's like, oh. Ladies, good. I have your email.
Thank you. How about
Good afternoon, class. Did you do your repeat essay?
I meant, I just did. Yeah, but thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Do we have enough? All right. Looks like that. Yeah.
I don't want to be in the midst of my
I appreciate it. We're both birthday.
Thanks about it today. That's all. We did check on everything. Okay. I didn't have my extensive notes on my so I went and it was July 6th, so I went with they're not the best.
For a few more seconds to get organized and we'll get started, okay? And Tammy, step away. Step in.
You're ready now.
The board has asked me to not have it be a long meeting. Okay. Multiple board members.
No, really.
We'll see.
So did that add more work for Mr.?
How are you? Good.
Ladies, if you have on skirts, we don't have skirts up under the table.
My dress is long enough to cover everybody.
Okay, are we all set? Okay, I'll call this regular board meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. Treasurer Serlini, would you please lead us in the pledge of allegiance? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. Madam Secretary, roll call please. Trustee Rogowski.
Present.
Trustee Nasir.
How's that?
Trustee Gator. Present. Trustee Wall.
Present.
Trustee Serlini.
Present.
Trustee Whitlis. Present. Trustee Dyra. Present. Thank you. We have a quorum. Before we move to adoption of the agenda, at the recommendation of our acting superintendent, Mark Kleinhans, we thought it would be a great idea, since we are strengthening our new team of 8 with Mrs. Dyroff being here, that we take our oath of office together. So I thought that would be a great idea. If any board member does not like that idea, please let me know. And if everyone is okay with it, we will do it now. Any objections? No?
Perfect.
All right.
Have
Can I
everyone stand. We do have copies of the oath. We'll pass out real quick. So I can follow along. We do want to welcome our new board member, Mandy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kind of you.
Yeah, went into our last meeting. So very, very cool.
Welcome back, Andy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you prefer Mrs. Dyroff or Mandy?
I prefer music.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I haven't gotten it.
Yeah, here's. That one for the minutes.
Thank you.
So for the audience, just when you become a board member, there are certain steps that you have to take, and one of them is the oath, and it has to be notarized. Mandy has taken care of that. Also, the acceptance and the affidavit are 2 other things that you have to do. And so I thought it would be a great time to reaffirm the oath just with all of us here. So if you could raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name. Thank you. Do solemnly swear
We solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of the Board of Education
of the office of the Board of Education
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Very good, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Great idea. Okay, there are some adjustments that I would like to make to the agenda, again, per the recommendation of Mark. And so before we adopt it, I would like to explain what those are. It is for item E, to remove Redford Locks Security Solutions. Sorry, again, it's item E, to remove Redford Lock Security Systems, but we are still hoping to remove the word Redford.
Just the word right.
Still having every intention to seek bids for the door security systems, but not for Redford,
Correct.
okay?
We don't have that on our agenda. We don't have D or E.
Bear with me, everyone. Thank you. We're gonna check and make sure that everyone has the same information.
Yeah. Redford.
She's talking about public agenda.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, the public,
Board
yeah.
has the correct one, not the
Yeah,
public.
yes. This is,
So we wanna make sure
I'm
that
sorry,
the
this is
public
in
has
the
the
board,
correct one.
the board, agenda that we followed.
Would the board like for us to get the accurate ones printed so the community can have the ones that we are using today? I think it would be fair and it should happen. So Suzanne, if you don't mind, we would like to get the public the agendas that we are working from. Thank you very much and thanks for your patience.
What is D?
You want me to just pull these out? I mean, I wrote on it, but
She has it saved,
whatever's easier.
yeah. Yeah. you do. So either way, it's covered. Okay. I guess I would like for it to be printed, and then that way the public can follow along with the additions that we are asking to adopt today. I don't wanna move ahead until those are printed correct for the public.
So don't have names for who resigned and who's appointed.
That should be in the correct one.
I'll take ownership for that, and I apologize for the delay in the miscommunication.
That new staff.
I believe I was told to find me button, get it connected to the printer if it's not already that way. That's what Carol was able to do before. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Start from the top once we get those.
Sorry.
No fumbles tomorrow.
Shared with the but I didn't look at it.
Yeah.
I usually say that.
I found that website.
Per the email, I'll roll in. I think it's today. I don't know if it was this morning, but it was this morning. No problem. That's what the adjustments are making. Hope you enjoyed it. We're not under recess. Separate. Thank you. Was that for me? So while we're waiting for the agendas to be printed for the public, I thought I should give an explanation as to why we're here in the media center. So first and foremost, it was brought to our attention by the board, at least the majority of the board in the community, that being in the auditorium can be sweltering on the hot days. And so as a step in the right direction, I thought maybe we should have a meeting here. Also, it's more intimate in a way. That's been some feedback that we received. And then I'm hoping that in other business, we can discuss where can a permanent location be moving forward. So I know it was a big confusion about that, and I do apologize for any confusion, but that's why we are here in the media center today.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't hear that.
There was a thing. I was writing it down.
Oh, the big audit?
I would never do that again, by the way. Because I had that conference the very next Thursday with business, 3 hours.
You don't want to. I would say so.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, it's a life. You don't have to say less money. Yeah, it's like that. It's a little different. Everybody had a lot of opinions and things like that. So it's different. That was great. This one, that was the best.
Football. Ready for football. You just let me know.
Ready tomorrow. Start again.
No, she's gone. Third one.
I did like that.
Yeah, but I was like, the kids, some
How are we doing, gentlemen?
Just give us a second, we gotta go get another printer.
Maybe I should have put it on. Right. Maybe we should have put it on Unless you disclose. Unless you disclose and ask permission.
So they will be there.
Yeah. Thanks again for your patience, everyone. Apparently the printer was out of toner, so they had to use another printer. What everybody asks. Write it in. Just tell them to give you the printout before we leave today. Hey, Ms. Morgan, I know it's confusing, but we're still in the open meeting.
My brother went to Russia. He's such a bad dad, but like, stuff that's happening. They don't know they said they just made a whole story.
So we're all set, right? Okay, everybody, so we can now resume, even though we were not in recess. Thank you again for your patience. I'll start from the top before I can accept the motion to adopt our agenda with the adjustments that I am asking, that Mark is asking to be made tonight. Again, it was letter E, to remove Redford Lock Security Solutions, just the title. Just the title, not the resolution, just the word Redford. Okay, under letter F, please include it is for all certified staff and monies to be derived from general funds. Again, under letter F, please include for all certified staff and monies to be derived from general funds. Okay, I'll move on. Under letter G, please include that monies will be derived from general funds, and that is not Title I funds. So please strike out Title I and add general fund. Under letter H, please include that if approved, it is for all Board of Education members to attend. Under other business, just for the sake of transparency, and talking with board members, we wanted to discuss meeting locations moving forward. Board legal workshop that both myself and Secretary Winless attended, so we want to give feedback on that training, as well as K through 12 media update. Would any board member like for me to go back and repeat those, just so we're clear?
What's the last one?
Under other business, K through 12 media update, board meeting location discussion, board legal workshop feedback. And if any board member would like for me to repeat those from the top, just for the sake of transparency and clarity, I will do so. Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the September 6, 2023 agenda as presented. A board member may request an item or items be moved from the consent agenda to superintendent's recommendations. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Biltowski. Is there support? Support. Supported by Secretary Winless. Is there a discussion? So I do want to say thank you, Mrs. Dyroff, for those questions, making sure that our board agendas have an extra added layer of transparency. And I did communicate that between Mark and Suzanne to make sure that we're more mindful of that moving forward. Other board members have said that as well, so we'll get things right moving forward. Okay? Is there any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Willis, yes. Trustee Zerlini? Yes. Trustee Dara?
Yes.
Trustee Botowski?
Yes.
Trustee Nasir? Yes. Trustee Gayton?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you for that. Public comment on agenda items only. Is there any public comment to come before the board on agenda items only?
Should we add our part here?
Yeah, if it's on agenda items only, absolutely. If not, then it can go under the second public comment that can be on anything that you may want to say. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Miller, and I'm on Hardy Court, which is the field, the property directly behind Chirkup Field. You've done a fantastic job, put a beautiful field in. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm glad they have.
Point of order, sir. I hate to interrupt you. It's not my intention to be rude at all, but I just want to make sure, is your public comment on the agenda items only, or is it something that is not related to the agenda?
Well,
We need to add to the agenda.
I guess we have to add it to the agenda then.
Well, we can do that at a later date, following policy and procedure, but again, you are free to share any information you want under the second public comment that is on our agenda tonight.
All right.
And I apologize if that interruption was abrupt.
Okay.
Is there any other public comment on agenda items only?
Okay.
Good evening and welcome.
Virginia Mortgage, we absolutely can't hear a word you're saying back there. So if there's any possibility to get a mic that doesn't have to have any, something attached to it, like a portable microphone, if you could ask the gentleman back there to bring some kind of microphone. And then you went ahead and you typed up the agenda for the community, and you still didn't complete the agenda. So we have no idea what, item A doesn't say who, item B doesn't say who, item C doesn't say who, item E, we don't know what it associated, it could be a person. So when you say that we have to speak to the agenda items, we can't do that when you don't provide us with a full agenda. This has been happening for the last couple of months. Before, we always had the motion on the agenda, so it would say exactly what it was. It would say, be it resolved blank, and this money will be taken from whatever. This is really a joke of an agenda. We asked you, when you made it a few minutes ago, we asked you to please put down the names of the people so we have some idea so that we can speak to the item. So not only can we not hear you, but under other business, you just read off 3 things you're going to discuss under other business. We can't speak to them because we didn't know what they were. So you're not doing the agenda right, and I don't understand what the secrecy is about. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. All right, could you guys hear me when I said that? That seemed to project a little bit louder.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other public comment on agenda items only? Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Amia Brand, teacher of BUST. For item F, I'm just hoping that is a presentation and it's not something that's going to be voted on, because I don't, and I might be mistaken, I don't remember ever seeing this or hearing anything about it before. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment on agenda items only? Second call for public comment on agenda items only. Third call, any public comment on agenda items only? Hearing and seeing none. I saw the hand raised of Mrs. Zyro.
I did, yeah, I apologize, I just have to say this with this public participation. The gentleman, I just happen to know because I went and introduced myself beforehand, is going to talk about the football field and the problems surrounding it from his point of view. And it really does fall under the agenda because we have committee reports. And one of those committee reports is the bond committee, and it is going to talk about the football field. So to me, it seems like he should be able to talk because it is an agenda item.
Thank you, Mrs.
So
Ira.
that's just my 2 cents.
I definitely appreciate that.
Mhm.
While that very well may be true, and it was not my intention to abruptly cut off anyone, I had no idea what the bond committee updates would be about today, so it was no way for me to know that, and I just wanted to honor the process.
Yep.
But again, I thank everyone for being here. We welcome public comment in its right place. Okay? Vice President Wall.
I just want to ask for clarification. So for the bond committee, it's just going to be an update. There's really, there would be like no discussion per se. That's why I was just
That's my
wondering.
point.
That's.
And then audience participation comes before that again.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I
you
just
know what I
see
mean?
that, yeah.
So he's gonna get up and talk, and he's gonna talk about that, and you're just going to give a report. So I'll just address it again under other business. If I have any, we can talk about it then, I guess.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that it from the board? Okay, no other public comment on agenda items only, and we are now moving forward. Under superintendent reports, letter A, start of school update, I'll defer to Mark Lyons.
Yeah, so I just want to do a quick report on the start of school today. First of all, I want to reach out and thank everybody as part of getting the schools ready. It was a very exciting day for staff and students as I walked around the buildings. First of all, our maintenance crew did an excellent job in getting everything ready, and I know the construction made things tight. Our staff did a fantastic job. You can walk out here and probably eat on the floors, they're so clean, I love it. But it was just wonderful to see teachers out in the hallway, hugging kids, welcoming our students back, administrators out and about, talking to parents, just very pleased with how the opening day went. So I just was really excited. Also, I do have some good news. We found out that our football field can be used to play on. Now the facility is not completed, but we can use the football field. So we had an opportunity to give our students a chance to play on that field. And although it's not complete and it's not perfect, there's things that still need to be done. I made a decision to go ahead and move forward to schedule a football game here. It actually helps the other team. Last week, their football field got tore up really bad because of all of the rain, and apparently it's mud from in between the 50s and was in quite rough shape. So our interim athletic director reached out, talked to them. They were more than happy to move the game here. Then it became an issue of officials. As you know, in the state of Michigan, it is difficult to get officials, so we had to make some adjustments, and I'm actually happy and proud to say that our kids are going to get an opportunity 2 weeks ahead of time to play on that football field. We're going to play tomorrow night at 6:30, so it should be exciting. Again, please be mindful, the field is not completed, it's not perfect, but we had an opportunity, and I made a decision to move forward and give our kids that opportunity. So pretty excited about that. Also wanted to take a minute to talk about the professional development. The administrators met at a retreat, and we did professional development. We talked about Neola policies, and that was pretty easy for me to do, right? Because I used to be the district's Neola rep. Talked about budget. We got a presentation on threat assessment and emergency operations. We talked about CPI training and safety drills, along with Standards for Success, which is just a software tool to guide the evaluation process. And then we spent a lot of time on professional learning communities. So the admin team has committed to doing a book study. We're reading The Energy Bus. So if any board members are interested, I have extra copies. And so excited about that. Elementary team's working on a Safety Town presentation, and our high school team's working on the Sports World Assembly. And then with our teachers, what I thought was a pretty cool welcome back, and President Gator was there and gave a presentation. I thought that was awesome. Fire everybody up. We introduced all of the new staffing, all the new staff members that are here, or staff members that their positions changed. We talked about the projects, a little bit of my background because I'm new to a lot of folks. And then we got into just an overview of our district bylaws and policies and administrative guidelines. Then we heard a presentation on safe school training in active shooter training. And although I told the staff that it is difficult when you're excited to come back to deal with some of these issues, but it's the world that we live in. And so we had a pretty in-depth training, and that's on top of tomorrow. All the staff is working on mandatory safe school training, so they're going to do additional time on active shooter, as well as Title IX training and bloodborne pathogens. So those are mandatory trainings that our staff's going to be working on. And then on Friday with the staff, we're going to be doing some PLC work and some math curriculum work. So just kind of update everybody on where we're at, but what a wonderful opening day. I'm glad the rain held off until all the kids were in, because parents were lined up. It was just, it's so awesome, and I was so proud of just everybody involved, our staff, our food service people, teachers, the administrators. Just really was a great start.
Thank you. And I guess I just want to say to the board, I didn't say much of a statement. I just thanked everybody for being here. I thank all the teachers and administrators and building principals for the tiresome work that they put in the district. And I encourage them to stay with us and keep our district moving forward. So that was basically all I said. And then I did a coffee toast, because that was like the most corniest thing that I could come up with. Some people bought into it, some people didn't, but we'll see how that goes later. Okay. Okay. On to, well, any questions from the board about start of school update?
I have a question about the football field.
Trustee Bilkowski?
Okay, so you said that the football field is not complete. Is the field complete and the facility is not complete?
Yes.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
So the football field itself is safe to play at?
Yes.
That's all I'm concerned about. Thank you.
Yep.
And my question was the same.
Trustee Dara?
What, I apologize. What is considered the facility that's not complete?
So there's, so that's a great question. There's restoration areas inside the field on the back wall, or on the back part of it, not the back wall, but behind, in between the track and the fence. Mm-hmm. There's work yet to be done there. And then there's just some little things that I think to the north part, it's still some areas that need to be cleared and put grass seed down and that kind of stuff. So not major, but certainly safe enough, and you know, the field's ready to roll. It's been turned over to us. I think they practiced on it. That's what I heard, but I'm not sure. I'm probably pretty sure they did, but they turned it over to us. So we're good to go. And we thought we got the opportunity. Let's get the kids on our field. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Hearing any other questions, statements from the board on start of school update? Hearing and seeing none. On to superintendent's recommendations. Letter A, certified staff resignations, exhibit number 1. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the following certified staff resignations. And I'll do them by name, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any name. Ann Shulkins, teacher consultant district-wide, effective date October 1st, 2023. Ann Stubbs, counselor at OW Best, August 28th, 2023 would be the effective date. Josh Thielen, assistant principal / athletic director / CTE coordinator, effective date August 28th, 2023. Dr. Faith Ivy, director of special education, August 25th, 2023. Julie Peterson, resource room at Annapolis High School, effective date August 16th, 2023. Kurt Radwanski, principal, physical ed, culinary arts at Annapolis High School, effective date January 26, 2024. Jennifer Zakovich, thank you. Resource room, OW Best, effective date August 22nd, 2023. Elizabeth Hipke, high school math, September 1st, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Bilkowski. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Vice President Wall. Is there discussion? Treasurer Sterlini, and then I'll go to trustee Dyroff. Treasurer Sterlini, and I can pass the mic around to Vice President Wall.
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So
So I just want to thank all these teachers. There's quite a number of them that have been in the district for years and are leaving, and I'm sad to see that they're leaving, and I appreciate their service. But I also want to remind the board, I've been saying this and others have, we are losing good teachers that have been here for 20 years. And if you notice on the resignation letters, they are not retiring, some of them. They're going to other districts. And I keep hearing it's because of money. I have been around in this district for 4 years, have paid attention to board meetings, everything. These teachers aren't leaving just for money. Teachers don't go through what they've gone through for 20 years to leave just because of money. There's an issue with the admin, there's an issue with the board, they're leaving for these reasons. So we need to pay attention, and I'll do better, including myself, because I'm telling you, and I've been saying, these aren't the last of it, unfortunately. We're gonna lose more, and that's sad. This is a great district. I appreciate these teachers. I love this district, and that's why I decided to become a board member, and I don't want this district going down in flames. So thank you all again, and I'm sorry that you all had to leave.
Thank you, Treasurer Scarlini. If we could pass it around to.
I don't need the mic.
Spiral.
I don't need the mic.
Okay.
You can hear me. I echo exactly what you said. When I saw the 8 resignations, I was very dismayed. It is very disheartening to see the staff that are leaving, and you are right, they are not all leaving to retire. And I stand beside you on everything that you said. It's heartbreaking to see what's happening in the district in terms of the staff that's leaving.
Thank you, Trustee Byroff. Does that complete your statement?
It does.
And I will assume it completes yours too. Is any other board member? I'll go to Trustee Botowski, and then we'll do Secretary Willis.
Oh, wait,
Would you like to
wait, I do want to just say one more thing, and thank you for your service. For the time that you were in the district, those that are leaving, thank you for your service.
Okay. Trustee Botowski, would you like the mic?
No, I don't need the mic.
Okay.
I have my teacher voice. I just want to, there's one person on here particularly that I want to call out, and that's Mr. Radwanski. I want to wish him the best on his retirement. It is sad to see him go. I have known him for many, many years, and I just wish him the best in his retirement. Good for him that he's doing that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Secretary Willis, would you like the mic? Okay.
I just have a question on well, thank you for your service to everybody that is leaving and or retiring. And then for the assistant principal / athletic director / CTE coordinator, before that position is posted, I'm not sure if it's already posted, but is it a way to have that position broken up into 2 separate positions, like 2 people doing that position? Because I know that was an overwhelming position for the person that was in it.
Thank you. I'll defer that to Mark.
Yep, so good point. So we posted it as is, so it is posted, athletic director / assistant principal. But what I thought, because I have heard that as well, and I was once an athletic director, and it's very difficult to be at a game at 10 o'clock at night, right? And then the next morning you're up at 7:30 dealing with issues. So typically school districts that I've been around, that position is kind of flexed based on the schedule. And so what I thought we would do as we post and we interview, we look at the skill set of the people that have applied, and then if we can make some adjustments within our admin structure, then I think we need to look at that. Typically what happens with these kinds of positions is young administrators jump into these, and right away, they're going around the clock, and they tend to burn out. It becomes difficult. So some school districts have just an AD for both the high school and the middle school, and then have a separate assistant principal position. So I think that's something that we need to look at. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I'll go to you, but first I would like to say, I thank each and every one of you who are resigning for your time and your effort that you've put into our district. And I, like my fellow board members, think that it is a problem that we are having a mass exodus of our staff. I do have a desire to understand from a point of data, from a point of understanding as best as we can from exit interviews, what these people are saying are the reasons why they're leaving. And just to let the board know, I've asked Mark to compile some data to be able to present it to the board as to some of the reasons from a high level overview of why people are leaving, so we can look at it with a fine tooth comb and be able to problem solve around it. Okay, Mark, I don't know if you want to speak to that, and I hope that wasn't a surprise, but.
Nope, not a surprise, yep, nope, not a surprise. So there is an exit interview process that the school district uses. It's a form that's sent to the individual with questions. They answer the questions, and then it's compiled in a survey type of structure. And so we'll get that and share that with the board, certainly.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Darrow?
I do, I just had one more question. You referenced the assistant principal and the athletic director when Leslie asked the question. You didn't say anything about the CTE coordinator.
Yeah.
And it's like a 3-part position.
Yeah, so we posted the 2.
Okay.
The district, I think the way the responsibility goes, that's broken up within the high school administration structure.
I see.
And I think because of that individual's skill set, they put that piece on there, so.
So it could end up with anyone.
Exactly,
So
yep,
I see.
yep.
All right, I think we've had enough discussion and deliberation before we can put this to vote. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Trustee Dyer,
Yes.
trustee Sterling,
Yes.
trustee Wall,
Yes.
trustee Willis, yes, trustee Beltowski,
Yes.
trustee Nasir, trustee Gator.
Yes, motion carries. On to letter B, certified staff appointments, which is exhibit number 2 in your packets. Be resolved that the Board of Education accepts the following certified staff appointments. Sheila Green, middle school special education, effective date September 5th, 2023. Artona Millhouse, school psychologist, September 5th, 2023. Ambrose, hope I'm saying that correctly, Wilbanks, middle school special education, September 5th, 2023. Artona Millhouse and Ambrose Wilbanks are third-party contractors. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Vice President Wall. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by, I didn't hear that, Trustee Dyroff. Is there a discussion? Treasurer Sterling.
So,
Would you like the mic?
can everyone hear me? My concern is the 2 that are third-party contractors. The salary seems quite high to me, and I mean, their contracts are for quite a bit of time, if it's the end of the next school year. Wouldn't it be cheaper? I'm sure if you could find someone to fill that position, you would, right?
Right.
Is that what's going on?
That's exactly.
I'll defer that to Mark so he can.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on. These special education positions are very difficult to fill. And so we have, last meeting, I think you appointed a couple as well, or we hired a couple more this meeting. But if we could fill them by posting in our hires, that's the best case scenario. But right now, in the world that we exist, it's tough just to get these even through a third-party contractor. So these companies provide this service, they find these individuals, and matter of fact, the one individual is someone that's already worked here, so was on a contract last year, so this is a renewal of that contract. So, but you're exactly right, it's tough.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion from the board? Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Trustee Beltowski,
Yes.
trustee Nasir,
Yes.
trustee Sterling,
Yes.
trustee Wall,
Yes.
trustee Dara,
Yes.
trustee Willis, yes, trustee Gator.
Yes, motion carries. Letter C, can you guys hear me in the back? I want to make sure. Thank you. Non-certified staff appointments, exhibit number 3 in your packets. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the following non-certified staff appointment. Holly Nichols, administrative assistant to the assistant superintendent, effective date 8/25/2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Beltowski. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Vice President Wall. Is there a discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nasir,
Yes.
trustee Sterling,
Yes.
trustee Beltowski,
Yes.
trustee Dara,
Yes.
trustee Wall,
Yes.
trustee Willis, yes, trustee Gator.
Yes, motion carries. Letter D, P2 annual partnership quote, exhibit number 4 in your packets. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the Positivity Project Partner School membership for Party Elementary School at a cost of $3,995. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the Positivity Project Partner School Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the Positivity Project Partner School membership for Bedford Elementary at a cost to the district of $3,995. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the Positivity Project Partner School membership for Polk Elementary at a cost to the district of $3,995. Monies will be derived from the general fund. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Belkowski. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by trustee Nasser. Is there a discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nasser? Yes. Trustee Dara?
Yes.
Trustee Zerlini? Yes. Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Wendlands? Yes. Trustee Belkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Gator?
Yes, motion carries. Letter E, lock security solutions. Be it resolved that the Board of Education will seek bids for door security systems for all panic doors district-wide. Monies will be derived from general funds. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Secretary Windless. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Vice President Wall. Is there a discussion? Treasurer Scarlini?
I thought there's somebody actually heard him in the audience. I thought there was a grant for this. I can't recall the name of it in front of me, but there was a grant. I thought, I don't know, it was like $293,000 that would cover like security stuff.
I'll refer that to.
Yeah, so, I put general fund on here. There are grant dollars available. I think so this is to put the bid out for now, because I want to make sure that we know that we have money in the general fund to cover this. Then when the proposal comes through, we'll earmark that grant and we'll put the grant and do a proposal that way. But I want to make sure, in theory, all those grants are part of the general fund. So, but we're hoping and we're pretty sure that this will be covered. I just didn't want to put it in here and not be 1000% sure.
Okay, yeah, because I think there was two, was that, and I think Dr. Finney applied for one,
Yep.
and then it was like 14,000 or something that was covered, okay.
And that will be in the official.
Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion from the board? Hearing, seeing none. Roll call, please.
Trustee Sterlini?
Yes.
Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Wendlands? Yes. Trustee Dara?
Yes.
Trustee Belkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Nasir? Yes. Trustee Gator?
Yes, motion carries. Letter F, Curriculum Associate, Exhibit number 5 in the packet. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the request for professional development iReady pilot course in the amount of $16,000.00 for all certified staff. Monies will be derived from general fund. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Belkowski. Is there support?
I'll support it for discussion.
Supported by trustee Dyroff. Discussion? Trustee Dyroff. Would you like the mic?
No.
Okay.
I was curious about what was stated that this hasn't been brought forward, and were we going to have a presentation before we approved it? So I wondered if you could speak to that.
I'll defer that to Mark.
Thank you.
And then
So-
we'll go to you.
Yeah, at the last meeting, there was a presentation,
Okay,
but it was titled, I think that's what the confusion is. It was titled, iReady, and this is titled Curriculum Associate, so it's the same. Yeah, it was a presentation on, the iReady product for the elementaries. We're looking at doing a pilot, if approved by the board. It was quite an intense presentation.
Great, thank you.
Of course. Vice President Wall, are you sure you had nothing to say?
No, that was it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please. Oh, yeah.
Any other determine how many, see this one where they were gonna do the extra test and see if they want to switch it, they ever determine about the special education students?
I'll defer to you. I'm sorry, Mark.
Yeah, there was discussion at the administrative level about the testing, not only that, but also the amount and the timing of testing. I don't have the specifics of that right here, but I know that Dr. Finney had talked to the administration about that. There's a concern about over-testing, especially in the spring. So, and I thought that was brought up at the discussion. So I know that she talked to the administrators about it, I just don't have that plan in front of me.
Any other discussion from the board? Hearing, seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Wall,
Yes.
trustee Winless, no, trustee Botowski,
Yes.
trustee Nasir,
Yes.
trustee Dyroff,
Yes.
trustee Sterlini, no, trustee Gator.
Yes. Motion carries. Letter G, Dell Chromebook purchase exhibit number 6 in your packets. Be resolved that the Board of Education approves the purchase of the following Dell Chromebooks at a cost to the district of $24,496.00. Monies will be derived from general fund, and that will be for 100 Chromebooks for Annapolis High School at a cost to the district of $24,496.00. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Vice President Wall. Is there support? Supported by Secretary Winless. Is there discussion? Trustee Dyroff.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. No, me.
So when I asked the question about where the funding would be, and you said from general fund, you said Dell Chromebook correction from general fund. It's not clear to me why general fund and why not the technology fund.
Thank you. I'll defer that tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, with this purchase, the Chromebooks that were, brought up and approved at the last Board of Education or the previous, with the purchase of the additional Chromebooks, those dollars were built into the title grant, right? And so, the question was asked, where's the high school piece? So, when we put this together in this package together, I wanted to make sure that we didn't overspend in the title area because, as you know, that can cause us some trouble. So this was placed in the general fund dollars. And so that's really the rationale behind that. I was more focused on the Title I grant versus the general fund dollars.
Okay, and I'm talking the technology bond. Where, when you say title money, are you talking the technology bond? Because
There's no money in it.
It's no money in technology.
Oh, there's the answer. Thank you. Okay, there's the answer.
She's like, we were all coming to the rescue on that one. There is no money.
Okay, thank
in the
you.
technology bond account.
Now I got it.
Got it. Any other discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Trustee Wall,
Yes.
trustee Winless, yes, trustee Botowski,
Yes.
trustee Nasir,
Yes.
trustee Dyroff,
Yes.
trustee Sterlini, yes, trustee Gator.
Yes, motion carries. Letter H, DISC, Behaviors and Communication Workshop, which is exhibit number 7 in your packets. Be resolved that the Board of Education approves the purchase of DISC, Behaviors/Communications Workshop at a cost to the district of $11,000. Sorry, $1,100.00. Thank you, board, for being such a great team. Monies will be derived from general fund, and the training is for all board members of education. And again, I just want to publicly say thank you to Secretary Winless. She attended the training and brought this to us. And at a recent board retreat, we got consensus that it would be a great idea to attend this workshop. All right, is there a discussion? Motion, please. So moved by trustee Nasser, supported by Secretary Winless. Now is there discussion?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So it's my understanding this is a 3-hour workshop, and I understand that we're trying to work as a team. I do understand that. But I also feel respectfully that there seems to be a lot of unrest in the district, starting from the board on down. And I'm not sure, again, respectfully, that all the training in the world is going to cure untrust, communication issues, transparency issues. I personally feel that we don't even have our superintendent working. It seems when you're doing things like this with these workshops that you want to have that piece so that the team of 8 that you refer to is the team that is in place And I personally feel that this would be best to wait until 2024, a later date. But that's just my opinion. I will go with the majority, but I'm not going to not say how I feel about it, because I do have some angst about some of the training that's been taking place. Again, it's all great, but I'm not sure that it's focusing on what the real issues are.
Thank you for your comment. Is there any other discussion from the board? Vice President Wall?
So from prior MASB conferences I've gone to, there was one of the sessions that they did bring it briefly about the DISC training, and I really liked it. The only thing was it was a little concerned about the cost, but I do think if we get a 20% improvement of the board, that itself I think is being financially justifiable. Because you're right, we're not going to get 100%. That'll probably just never. No, I'll use the word never, because nevers can always be proven wrong. So, yeah, I think that it would help out, you know. So, and I'm not to like long meetings and that, but in that particular one, I would really enjoy going to that.
Okay. I will have something to say, and then we'll go back to you, Mr. Zyroff. So, I learned that Scott Morrell, who's been doing our recent board retreats, if we do vote to do this and take this workshop, he will not be the facilitator, but he will be there to support us if we want. So I just wanted to say that. I also want to say I'm in favor of this just because we are gelling still as a board, and we are still a new board, and I think it's important that we understand our work styles and personality styles so we can continue moving in the right direction, because I do feel that even though on one end we have ran into some struggles, we are moving in the right direction as a board. So I think we could use all the help that we can get. All right, I'll go back to Trustee Dyro.
So it's my understanding, a 3-hour workshop, and someone from MASB will facilitate it?
That is correct, and if I'm allowed to look at my phone, I can tell you the name of the person who sent me the quote. I don't know if that person will be doing a facilitation, but that person did send me the quote.
I don't need the name, I was just curious if it was via MASB.
Any other discussion from the board? Hearing seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Nassir.
Yes.
Trustee Willis. Yes. Trustee Beltowski.
Yes.
Trustee Sterling.
Yes.
Trustee Dyro.
No, but I will support this, but I feel like I have to vote.
Trustee Gator.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you all. Such a respectful discussion. Letter I, Dearborn Heights School District number 7 field trip, exhibit number 8 in your packets. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the Polk Young 5/K field trip scheduled for October the 20th, 2023 to Cackleberry Farms for approximately 75 students or teachers. Purpose of trip is to provide a hands-on, real-world experience in an alternative educational activity. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Beltowski. Is there support? Supported by Secretary Windless. Is there a discussion?
I hope it doesn't rain.
Hope it doesn't rain.
It's a real-world experience.
Aye, Captain. Is there any other discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nassir. Yes. Trustee Willis. Yes. Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Beltowski.
Yes.
Trustee Sterling. Yes. Trustee Dyro.
Yes.
Trustee Gator.
Yes. Motion carries. Is there any old business to come before the board? Hearing and seeing none. District points of pride for Mr. Kleindienst.
Yeah, so I just would like to reiterate thanking all of the employees of our school district, and not just the ones that we employ directly, but also those that we contract out, and the work that they've done to get the buildings ready, to be welcoming to our students and our staff. If you could see the smiles on the face today when I walked around, and not just the kids, the teachers and everyone, the parents, it was just really what I thought was a great day. If you would have walked our facilities 2 weeks ago, you'd have thought, oh my gosh, especially party, there's no way you would have thought today happened the way that it did. But, and I really focused on this in our staff PD. The reason we're in business is teaching and learning. And the reason why we were here is to educate kids. And today was a prime example of that. I walked by a kindergarten classroom, and of course, you know, there's always one or two kindergartners that's not ready to go in the classroom. So a couple of parents are out in the hallways trying to get and the teachers are trying to get the kids. And I walked into one, and the teacher already had these little ones on the carpet. They were doing this activity. They were talking. I mean, it was amazing. It's just fantastic. So we're going to keep that momentum, continue to focus on teaching and learning, and move forward. So thank you.
All right. Anything else under district points of pride, Mr. Klein? No. Okay. On to public comment number 2. Is there any public comment to come before the Board of Education on anything that you may want, as long as it's not abusive, obscene, or causing disruptiveness in our meeting? Thank you so much and welcome.
My name is Jerry Miller. The last time I was in this building was O.W. Best Junior High. Graduated from Lori, product of the school system, and you do a fine job. I live in Pardee Court, which is the land that is directly adjacent to Chickup Field, whereby they just installed this new football field, which is absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful facility. I wish I had played on something that good when I was that age. Unfortunately, at what expense? This is a picture before construction. Pass that around, please. And this is a picture currently. We've been unable to use our backyard for any period of time without being able to wash our dirt out of our mouths. It's absolutely horrendous. It's getting better. I see a lot of improvement, a lot of cleaning up. Unfortunately, due to the wet weather, there's a lot of gouges and things left in the dirt. Trenches. It has come to our understanding that the intent of the board is to leave the so-called road that they put in place. To us, that's unsatisfactory. We'd like it returned to the quote-unquote pasture-like presence that it had before they put the road in. I don't know about the money and who did what and what contracts are this and that and the other thing, but normally when you put a contract in place like that and they had to build the road to get in there in the first place, it should have been in the contract that they had to take the road out when they were done. Evidently at this point in time they don't want to take the road out, or they can't, or we can't pay for it. I'm not exactly sure exactly what the circumstances are, but you know, the point is, you know, I mean, we haven't been able to use our backyard.
You know, the windows, our house is doing, I mean, just not our house, their house. It's
all summer long. And we'd like you to make every effort to get rid of this eyesore. Anything we can do to help. We want to be good neighbors, and I guess that's all I have to say. Brad, did you have one?
Well, thank you, Mr. Miller, for your comment, if that concluded it.
Yes.
Okay. We'll welcome up any other public
I'll
comment.
just add to that.
Yeah, good evening and welcome.
We're neighbors. I'm Brad Bauer, lifetime resident of Dearborn Heights. I went through the school system. I just wanted to add to that, and it doesn't have to be answered today or whatnot, but I'm just wondering, okay, as the football field's complete, and it's going to be great to see teams out there using it, we don't know that we fully understand the plan going forward for that area, so if that can be addressed, and then, you know, what the cleanup looks like, and then we do have some concerns that you know, that road is going to be there. That's not really favorable for us. I mean, right now it's a dusty mess. I don't imagine that road will get used a lot, but I just kind of want to understand what the plan is going forward for that area that's just south of the football field and the baseball field, which is our backyard, basically, adjoins our backyard. And then, yeah, for us, I think we prefer that it return to the grassy area that it was. And not only, I mean, the kids would warm up there, baseball, football, that the kids would warm up in that field. Quite often the home team would take the field and warm up, but the visiting team would warm up in the area that's outside of the ball field. But yes, our hope would be that it returns to what it looked like before May 4th when it started. So, thank you for your consideration. I have something typed up that kind of generally outlines that.
Please leave it in the mail. We would love to see it.
Okay.
Thank
All right,
you so much
thank
for your
you.
comment as well.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good evening, welcome. Is there any other public comment?
Yeah, my name is Patty Bauer. I'm Brad Bauer's wife. And just to add to the conversation a little bit, so the roadway is there. There are people who walk through there and people walk their dogs, and there is some traffic that goes through there, but not a lot. My fear is if the road were to be left for any amount of time, I mean, occasionally people may come by on mini bikes or they might come by on four-wheelers, and that happens rare and, well, not rare, but not that often. But my fear is with the gate being open and having that big opening now that it's big enough for cars or other vehicles. And we kind of, living there for 37 years, kind of watch over the area and police it a bit. I mean, there's nothing we can do, but we watch over it. So those are my concerns, in the future of what may or may not occur if we don't, move forward with cleaning that area up.
Thank you for your comment. Is there any other public comments come before the board? Good evening and welcome.
Virginia Morgan. Got some picture here. My good friend Jerry and Brad, and Jerry's family's been out here as long as I've been out here, 80 years or something. Anyway, so this is what we're talking about. We're talking about a black top that was crushed up a road that is in the back of the baseball area. And the reason why it had to be built is been poor planning, because they finished the track first. So there was no way to get to building the turf field, because the year before they had torn it up to put a new track in. So they had to build a road to bring in the big trucks and things. And so, as you know, there's no more money in the bond money. There's no money to put the road out, take the road out. There's no more money to put it into a grassy area. There's no more money to do anything. So at the bond committee that you're going to hear about today, I adamantly begged them to please go out and get a bid to find out what it's going to cost. Then once we find out what it's going to cost, then we can figure out who's going to pay for it. Is it going to come from general fund? Is it going to come from building and site? How we're going to pay for it? Because we are going to pay for it because it shouldn't have been built in the first place. And they've been putting up with this for over 2 years. And what's going to happen if it's not taken out is that the cars are just going to come in there at night, party, throw beer, bottles, whatever, race around on the grass, make mud, all kinds of things. So it needs to be taken care of. But first of all, we got to find out how much it's going to cost. So the bond committee is going to report to you that we were told that maybe by the end of September, maybe the 1st of October, that they would have it figured out, what needs to be done. And then there'll be a bid that has to go out. And then you'll wait 2 weeks, and then you'll award the bid. And then, so now you're looking maybe 1st of November or something like that. Then you're going to hear about, well, we can't do it then. So that road's going to stay open all winter. And you know what's going to happen back there. They know what's going to happen back there this winter. It should have never been like that. Now, to get to that road, you have to go through the parking lot of the senior citizens. That's completely torn up. So money is gonna have to be put aside to fix the parking lot. So when they had their luau last month, the seniors couldn't even park in that area. They had to park on the street and walk across the street to get to any of their activities. It's a mess. All we're asking, and they're asking is find out what needs to be done, come to the board, go out for a bid, and then we'll figure out how much it costs. So that's my quote on that. So all my writing here is about the agenda. I don't understand why it takes so much effort to take the same agenda that you made for the board, be it resolved, the names of the resignations, the names of the programs, and then provide us with an adequate agenda. Mrs. Dyroff was perfectly right when they stood up before and said public comments on agenda items. Well, you can see right here under other business, it says board committee updates. The only thing is that you didn't even list what board committee you were going to report on. We're going to report on building and site, we're going to report on bond, we're going to report on finance, we're going to report on policy. You didn't even list the name of the board committee that was doing. That's an error. If you're going to have a committee update on board finance, I might be interested in coming because I'm interested in finance. If you're going to have one on policy, an update on policy in the district, I might come because I want to know about what's happening on policy. You're supposed to designate what board committee you're talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment, Mrs. Moore. Is there any other public comment to come before the board? Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Katie Schuker, kindergarten teacher at Polk. Thank you for approving our field trip. Please pray for us that it does not rain, but I'm very excited. And hopefully we can share some pictures and report out when we come back. But I just wanted to give a few kudos and shout outs to some of our amazing admin team. First, I know that she's not here this evening, but I want to welcome back Dr. Porcheller. We're so grateful to have her back in her role as the principal at Polk. She's been working diligently to get our school on track for this school year, and it truly shows between staff morale and all the changes that have been going on in our building. She's been extremely supportive of the Young 5 and kindergarten team, and we could not be more thankful. To piggyback on that, I do want to speak briefly about Mr. Kleinhans. Every opportunity that I've had to interact with him personally or in a group, or I've heard about his interactions with other staff members, it's always been overwhelmingly positive. So thank you. You're so friendly, personable, easy to talk to, even just during our little brief encounters. And many others have also echoed that same sentiment. It's a welcomed change for sure. And it felt like you not only listened to everything that we had to say, but that you truly heard what we're saying. And we all know actions speak louder than words, right? And his actions are speaking loudly and they're aligning with what he's saying. So we appreciate that. When concerns were shared about previous issues with enrollment, class sizes, all that stuff, he promised to do what he could to help. And I can say that even though keeping a close eye on enrollment is a very difficult task, this year is off to a way better start than it was last year. And he is holding true to that promise. So I just want to share that I think that being proactive is sure to pay off this year and in years to come. So I know it's a group effort. I want to thank Mr. Kleinhans and to everyone who is involved in enrollment, especially Holly and Carol. Big shout out to them. I can imagine that it's one of the most difficult jobs, and I certainly don't want to do it. But it seems like you guys are really trying to figure it out, make it seamless, and handle enrollment, identifying issues that can be addressed appropriately in the future and avoided. It's very appreciated. It feels great to not only have a team who wants to listen, but to actually have our voices heard and to see that action that's taking place that is going to impact our students and their families in so many positive ways. I'm very excited for this. So I feel very optimistic for this school year. I just wanted to share those few things and those tidbits about those amazing people who are contributing to my segment. So thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your comment. Is there any other public comments to come before the board this evening? Good evening and welcome.
Hello, Heather Sanders.
So I just want to prove that I wrote this on there before Miss Schuker got up and seemed like I was copying her. So when Mark got up and said he walked to the schools today and all the smiles on the faces and all that, I wanted to point out that a lot of those smiles were because you were walking through the schools. So I have heard from countless staff members, parents, everybody today that was like, oh my God, he was at party, or he was here, or he was here. And everybody thought it was amazing to see you in all of the schools or where you could be. Everybody that had any interaction with you, like, reported back to me, like, Heather, have you met him? He is, like, so nice, and I like him, and he needs to stay, and, like, they were putting me in check or something. Like, no, I like him too. But clearly we had the same thing, but I just wanted to remind myself. So I wrote that on here because I'm like, wait, now she's up here, and I'm saying the same thing. But those smiles were also because it was the first day, but a lot of them were because you're such a breath of fresh air through what we just went through, and everybody is so grateful to have you.
Thank you for your public comment. Is there any other public comments to come before the board? Good evening and welcome.
Hi.
Hey.
Marvin, Detroit. So today was awesome at Bedford. For the first time, I had to walk into the elementary school and actually hug our kids' teacher. Mrs. Beck is amazing. Also, just so love her. Our kids was, they love her. The classroom was amazing. Just everything was amazing. Our high schooler, she got to a great start, which is always amazing. Our middle schooler, yeah, he went in confident and came out. He came out in a little bit in tears, asking, why do they think I'm a criminal? So I'm gonna tell you why he asked that question. He was singled out by the teacher. The teacher said, you have to have a clear book bag. The student next to him said, do I have to have a clear book bag? Mine look like his. No, you're fine. Why do I have to have a clear book bag? You just have to have a clear book bag. Last year, my son was told by 2 teachers and the principal that he had to have a clear book bag. No other kids were told that they had to have a clear book bag, but our son. We are so tired, and this is called discrimination. This is what you guys keep telling us does not exist here in this district. This is what you guys keep telling us and what you have told our kids, literally to their faces, does not happen, and it's not happening to them. Do you know how much that affects their mental health? Do you know, like I keep coming to these board meetings and telling you that he is autistic. Do you know how much work it takes to put that back in him, like, hey, no, son, you are not a criminal. You are not a criminal just because you are brown. You are not criminal just because you have a mental illness that you are not asked to be born with. As a mother and his father, we have to keep doing that. As his text, we have to keep doing that. Literally, all the time. Every time something happens. For no reason. He didn't even do anything. All he did was come to school. Prepare. Prepare. He has a book bag filled with things that he's supposed to have. Last year, he carried around a book bag with OW Best stamped on it. He was so proud to have that book bag. When I say proud, in a school, a staff member gave him that book bag. My son was so proud to have that bag, and they told him that he needed a clear book bag. He didn't do anything. Did you guys tell the boy who brought in the weapons that he had to have a clear book bag? I don't think you did. Do you ask the kids that fight to have a clear book bag? For now on, when there is a question or anything about any of what any of my kids are wearing, what they need, or anything, I promise you, if any one of these staff members say it directly to them, I'm coming in hot every time because I'm tired and I'm up here. You are new, very new, so you don't know. I'm gonna need you to have a conversation with every single one of these members because they know. These tears are very valid. And I hate crying up here because I hate for everybody up here to see my goddamn tears. I hate it, but I cry and I'm up here for my kids. I'm tired of this happening to my son. And this year's gonna stop. Those teachers in there are gonna stop singling my son out because they want me. If you want me, come at me. Me. And that's for everybody on that Facebook. Come at me. And I'm talking about everybody at OW. Come at me, not my son. And on a good note, I hope that we can have great field trips at Bedford because that would be so great, and that all of the parents can volunteer and not just 2 because that's not fair. And I hope y'all can stop that lottery crap because it's not fair. My kids want me to eventually volunteer for a field trip. I've been missing the action, and that's not me. That's not my husband. We are faithfully here. Ask anybody. We want to go on field trips. Please allow that to happen. If y'all want COVID to be over and everything, allow it to be over for real.
Thank you for your public comment. Is there any other public comment to come before the board? Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Margaret Kingmaker Street, Dearborn Heights. I just wanted to, with my enthusiasm of hearing how the first day of school went, I'm so excited. It was a breath of fresh air. It was amazing. I just wanted to say and speak on, it was brought up at tonight's meeting, that's why I'm bringing it up, is with the board and how everybody interacts and stuff with whatever's going on between you guys. Please just remember that it's about the kids. Put your guys' differences aside. We are here for the kids and for the staff, and it's just something that hit home with me, and I just appreciate it. And that's all I have to say. And once again, thank you, Denmark. And I am meeting with the school resource officer tomorrow at 2:30. So hopefully at the next meeting, I can have some safety towns, safe route to school suggestions to bring up to you guys. So just want to say that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your comment. Is there any other public comment to come before the board? Any other public comment to come before the board? Last call. Any other public to come before the board this evening? Hearing and seeing none. Thank you all. On to other business. Let's start with board committee updates. I believe what we have in front of us are board policy. And then we have bond meeting minutes. The policy meeting minutes are from July the 6th. The bond committee meeting minutes are from August the 16th, and that is all I have in front of me today. So to the chair of the policy committee, I'll turn it over to you first for those minutes. And if you would like the mic, I can pass it to you.
I don't need the mic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I first of all want to apologize to my fellow board members in the community that it took so long to give these minutes to you. I apologize. The call to order was at 5:37. Present was Tanya Sterlini, Rachel LaPointe, Alyssa Howard, Dr. Perteller, myself, and Trustee Wall. We met, and our Neola rep Phil Mikulski was in attendance via Zoom. We talked about updates on the tobacco and technology policy. Phil will update all the policies using the student template. And that was the old business. New business, we talked about, new business, we talked about ChatGPT policy that will be coming down the line. And as a policy, what they're saying is that it's strictly prohibited by students unless a teacher permits it. He will let us know through board docs if anything is changed after the first reading. There's going to be some that comes out in September. Some Title IX policies are coming down with a release date of October. That also goes for our LGBTQ policies. There will be some wording on those coming out in October then, and we will meet again. He did talk to us about and ask about student, staff, and third party if we are using multi-factor authentication. And I said about the LGBTQ. That there are 2 school districts in the state of Michigan right now that do have policies on that. That is Traverse City and Detroit Public Schools. And that if we have a policy that we want to add, they will print it for us. There was 2 public comments at the time. The meeting adjourned at 6:49, and our next meeting will be determined based on the updates on the policies coming out in September and October.
All right, thank you for that, Trustee Bosowski. Are there any questions or comments from the board? What I would like to say is, thank you for bringing up the DEI policies. It was something that was brought up when I was on the policy committee as well. And I had forwarded educational equity policies that has been adopted in other states and other public school systems. So if it is upheld to the policy committee, I can also forward that to you all as a point of reference.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me just make a note. And of course, honoring policy on that, there are free resources and attorneys and people who we could talk to who could also help us in the event that this is something that the district and the board wants to adopt. Okay. Any other questions from the board about the policy meeting that happened in July? All right, hearing, seeing none, I'll turn it over to Vice President Wall as he is the chair for the bond committee for his meeting minutes.
So the bond committee met on August 16th, time of 5:13. Present was myself, Trustee Windless, and Trustee Baldowski. Mr. Kleinhans, Jason Perkins, Tony Thomas, Virginia Morgan. Not present was Pat Gretko. At the beginning, we had a moment of silence for the passing of her daughter. And then we went into old business, which the first was inquiry on the Pardee football field, also known as Churcott Field. Mike Sims from Foresight Design was there to give us the update. And at that time, now once again, this is August 16th, so this is a little outdated, but at that time, the turf was made and it was being tested, and they were still waiting for delivery and installation, which you know now that's been updated. The athletic director has been kept up to date with the football field construction, and the goal was to have the field ready by Labor Day weekend, and that walkthrough was going to be done by a third-party company to review the field. The second part of old business was the overview of the bond construction budget, and that was presented by Mr. Thomas with Plant Moran, and we received a new update with the construction and the contingency fund. Any project that had a contingency fund, if anything was left over, then that would be going over to an overall contingency fund to see what could be used afterwards. There is some funds in the contingency category, but we'll probably have much more of an update after the next meeting. Then the third was the update on the overall bond construction schedule, and that was provided by Mr. Perkins. Bedford and OWS construction, the plan was to be done by Friday, August 18th, and both remained on schedule, and Pardee still had work to be done. Once again, well, I'm just going to say now, we did have a bond committee meeting today, but I'm not going to go over all those because that's something I'm going to put the minutes together first before I present that to everybody. For new business, we spoke about inquiring on the existing general contractor to seek bids on excavating the non-draining soil and add a synthetic fabric to help separate the subgrade and support the parking lot. If anybody, because I know I did this personally, when you drove by Annapolis, there was a couple spots of the Polk parking lot that were fishing lakes. So, and it just was not draining. Even if we had 3 days of super hot, sunny weather, the water was not going down. So that was the reason why they were seeking bids on that. And then there was another question that came up in other business regarding the scoreboard. And there was an inquiry on whether getting a video board, and that was explained that there was a bid seeked in the past, but due to the cost, the bond committee did not suggest the video board at that time. There was no public comment, and the next meeting was to be determined. As I mentioned, that was today, and I'll have those meeting minutes at the next board meeting, and the meeting was adjourned on August 16th at 6:20 p.m.
Sounds good. Thank you, Vice President Wall. Any questions or comments for the bond committee updates for that meeting? Trustee Gyro?
So it's just for that meeting, it's not to address, I have some questions about the road issue.
Well,
So
yeah.
can we do that now, or do I need to wait till other business?
Well, let's give it to the board. Because it is a part of the bond committee, do we want to hear it now or technically leave it under other business?
I don't have any objection.
Okay, please proceed.
Okay, so I guess, are we leaving the road in place, Mark? Is there a cost to remove the road? What's the plan?
Yeah, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, as you know, I came late to the.
Yes,
late
to the game,
deal
yep.
with this, but, we did hear, if, Mr. Wall would allow me to speak, discussion in regards to options of what to do back there. And the architect, Plant Moran Cressa was tasked to go out and seek different options and cost packages to those options. Once they're brought to the bond committee, then the bond committee will make a decision about what direction to move forward with that.
So it could be repair the road, remove the road.
We asked for every option, yeah, put it back to what it was, upgrade, keep a road, the options were left wide open. And so the committee felt that before they could even move, they had to know what was in front of them.
And when do you expect that back? I'm sorry.
So, yeah, if you don't mind.
Yep.
So that was my question at today's meeting, and basically they're waiting to get a little bit more update on what's gonna be left, needs to be done with, clean up post the field construction. And at that point, they're gonna get together with, I think with Foresight, just to see if there's anything particular, and then, hoping, that's why the next meeting is left open from today's meeting, because as soon as I hear something from Mr. Thomas, then we'll set a meeting up to discuss that. So.
Okay, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. And then my next question, is it true that there's no dollars left in the bond?
So.
Is it done? Is it, I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
So that, question, that was discussed again today?
Yeah, so with that particular one, there was, because there's change orders that happen, and things that, surprising. No, there is still some money that is left. I think when we were talking tentatively, but once again, everything's not finalized yet, there was about approximately 45,000
left in this project.
of the contingency overall for all the bond projects.
Oh.
So, but we don't know for sure yet, because you still have to wait until you get every little final thing in it.
Right,
So,
I understand the process.
So.
Okay.
Okay, does that conclude your questions?
It does, thank you.
You're
Yes.
very welcome,
Thank
Treasurer
you.
Fermini.
So when you bid out the turf, we never said, okay, obviously as part of it, the road was never a part of it, saying, like the finalized finished product, like that was never part of the whole scope of them bidding on the job.
So when they did the bidding for the road, it was just to put the road in, it wasn't for removal of the road. That's how it was understood.
Put the road in and not remove it?
Yeah, there was not, when they put it in, it was just for the cost to put the road in.
In my thing, if they might have done something different, had they known the road's coming out, they might have done it differently. If they thought it was a permanent road, they're gonna do it more expensively and more permanent. If the thought was, hey, we're just using this to put the turf in, but we want it to come back out, it might have been a little bit cheaper, it might have done it differently, you get what I'm saying?
I understand it, I know that was something that was put into consideration when we were doing a cost, because one of the things we didn't wanna do is do something highly expensive and, not want it, so that's why it's kinda left open, and we just had to do that because those trucks would have destroyed everything if they just went right on the ground.
Okay.
So,
Trustee Dyer?
yes, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
apologize.
I know it's a very important
conversation.
topic.
It really is. So.
And then I'll allow that, and then we'll move on because we have other items.
Sure.
Is that okay with
Yeah,
everyone?
yeah.
Okay.
So just so I'm clear, the road was put in, you knew the road was gonna be put in, and you paid for the road. In all honesty, was it ever in the plans to remove the road, or was it always the plan to just leave this road and we've got a road now?
It was left open, because if it was something to be permanently, then of course that would have been like concreted in or asphalted in, so.
But now
it was
it's just
left
a muddy
open.
mess?
It's a gravel mess, I mean, not a mess,
Yes.
it's a gravel,
It's a mess.
I'll wander over tomorrow and take a look at it. Yeah. All right,
That's,
that's it for me.
that's why, I just wanna reiterate why Mr. Klein has said, we wanna know all the options, so
yes.
that way we can see, cause if it's gonna cost 3 times as much versus something else, that's why we wanna know.
Right, sure.
What are the options?
Sure. Yes, and if there's not enough money, depending on where that is, I'd be interested to know how, where we would anticipate the rest of the dollars coming from, what fund you would be taking that from, so. Yeah, great, thanks, I'm good.
Okay, so we'll close discussion on that respectfully, and we will continue to move on to other business matters. Let's go with board meeting location discussion. So this topic has been a topic for a little bit of time now. We know for a fact that there's no air conditioning in there, and even though it's nice and pretty to some, it can get smoldering hot. And then some board members have asked that we move to a different location, wherever that might be, whether we want it in a more intimate setting such as this, or we want somewhere where the AV and the audio sounds better, et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted us to talk about this so I can get a final direction of what we want to do, and we will go with consensus on this just to make sure that that we're taking care of all matters that we have to take care of. Like, I think it's very important that we get somewhere we can have clear audio. Air circulation is very important. Having an intimate setting. I want us to talk about all of that so we can make a permanent, I'm hoping, decision on where we can meet. I think it's important that we consider not confusing our audience participants by moving a lot of different locations. I also think it's important for us to have consistency, rhyme, and routine, right? So think about all of those things, and let's just go around the table, if that's okay with everyone, to talk about what we think should happen so we can direct that way moving forward. Is that okay with everyone if we do it that way? Okay, and we'll go with consensus. Starting with Trustee Nasser.
I'm in favor of either, if the Polk Media Center is available now, post, the construction in the board office, or I personally really like the meeting, the last meeting, in the OWS cafeteria. I think being on the ground, is very intimate, but also it allows for more capacity in some meetings. If we do have a bigger turnout, everyone is more comfortable, and I do believe it does have air. So that's the only difference between that and the media center. The media center is a little bit smaller, but either or I'm in favor of. I personally did really enjoy the last meeting that we had last week.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you said Polk and or OW?
My first pick would probably be OW, just because with space and capacity. If we ever had a meeting where we have a lot more participation, it would be ideal to ensure that everyone has adequate space. So yeah, I would say OWS.
Okay. Did you like the audio at OW as well?
Yeah, I do believe that it projected pretty well.
All right, sounds good. Anything else? All right, Treasurer Scrumini, you're up next if you want.
I am for OWS, but I don't want to be on the stage. I liked how we did it last time. I prefer to be on the ground. I feel like being up on stage away from everyone doesn't feel like we're a part of them, and like we should all be, even the community should be part of this, right? Like that's how I feel anyway. So I prefer OW Best, but I would like it to be on the ground. And OW Best gives us one year. We have also, we've got large capacity, you know, if there's large group coming, we have that large capacity. I just think that's better overall for everything.
All right, does that conclude all your comment about that? I want to make sure I heard OW not on the stage.
Correct.
All right, Secretary Williams.
OW Best now.
Vice President Wall. Thanks for being short and quick. Vice President Wall.
Well, I'm probably the only one that likes the auditorium, but on the other hand, though, I do understand that it is super hot there because now I'm thinking, I'm gonna be wearing a suit for the rest of the school year, and so I totally understand that. Someday, when we maybe have air conditioning, then I would be like, let's consider moving that back. But as for audio, I hate to say it, but this is the best audio so far I've ever seen, and we just got one microphone. So, you know, that's.
We just get that one.
Because OW Best, they cut out, you know, and that was someone said that, you know, one of the former audio was saying that it was the wires and all that stuff. So I don't know how good that's going to be, but I don't have any objection.
Okay, so I'm hearing you would be okay with OW,
I'll go
even
with
though
it.
you like Annapolis.
I love Annapolis.
You love it.
You know, but I also understand it's like a roast oven. So.
Got it. Okay. I'm next. For me, I just usually want to meet and have everybody get what they need and go home. So I don't typically care where we meet as long as everything is ironed out the way we need it to be. I am a fan of cosmetically how Annapolis looks. I like that feel because it looks cosmetically good. However, that's not the most important thing when you're facilitating a meeting. So I am okay with OW as long as we stick with it, unless there's some emergency reason why we can't. All right, Trustee Bilkowski.
OW Best not on stage.
All right, and same. All right, it looks like we have it. OW moving forward unless there is an emergency reason why. Okay, Suzanne, is that understood? Yes. All right, Mark, you got that clear? All right.
May I ask a question?
Vice President Wall.
Because I know, like at the beginning of the meeting, you had to establish, do we need to put a motion in at all to officially say this is where we're going to have meetings? I'm just asking. I don't know if we
It's
had
a fair question. No, we do not, as long as the board is clear and understanding of how we are to move forward, and that Suzanne knows how to put it on the agenda and post it. Yep, we're all set. Thank you for that question. Okay, K through 12 media update. So it's been another ongoing topic that there is a way for us to utilize their services more, and that there hasn't been enough content pushed about events, about highlights that we want highlighted on the district. So I took that in and I wanted to bring it up for discussion today for us to give an update. So I connected Suzanne with Sean Patterson and Carrie Saint, since they are our main contacts for K through 12. And I'll turn it over to Suzanne for her update regarding how to utilize their services better.
Thank you. So I had a great conversation with Sean today.
Would you like the mic? Okay.
Thank you. I had a great conversation with Sean today, and he gave me a great point of reference. I've been speaking to Rachel Thornton, and she's our communications contact for all the social media. So I then connected Rachel with all of our principals and the assistants. She and the principals are going to dedicate a social media ambassador for each site, and that person will be responsible to include me and Rachel and put it on our website.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Mark, I don't know if there's anything you want to add. Okay, does a board member have any questions about that? I know we have various opinions about K through 12 media, but for the sake of time, I just want to see if folks understood that and any questions. Trustee Bilkowski?
She said website.
She said social media.
Okay, then you said website. That's what I'm just asking for correction. It's for social media.
Social media.
Thank you.
But K through 12 services are for both.
Right, I know.
Okay, but I think what I'm hearing correctly is that our social media is most user-friendly. Most people go to that for their information, right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't have a bone to pick in that. However, we want to make sure that our events, our highlights are updated so our community can see it. Okay. Trustee Nasser.
I guess I'm kind of confused. I don't know if I like didn't understand it, but like when you say like social media ambassador, like are they like feeding them information? So like they're in charge of like giving that specific schools like events and updates. I wasn't really sure about.
Great question. I'll defer that back.
Yes, I need to clarify. So each ambassador who is going to be designated by the principal, could be their assistant, could be the principal herself or himself from that school. They will be the ambassador reporting up and submitting it right to Rachel.
Okay. Thank you. Did I see another hand raised? Vice President Wall, I see yours now. Do you want the mic?
No.
Okay.
So I just want to know, it sounds like that social media is not necessarily our website, correct, is what we were talking about?
It could be used for both. K-12 is supposed to manage, push out content on both.
Because I was wondering, is there any way on our website, or D7 website, that we can have, because I know it's not very, from what I've been told, it's not very good, where we can have like sporting events and, which I guess that means every coach would have to give that information, to somebody, Jennifer, I guess, or something like that. Or no, I don't know, sports. Who would they report that to? Because every school's got a little bit different there. So I would like to see if that's possible. And the other thing is there something where we can put little clips of something in there, updated information to let people know? Kind of like what's going on in the district or something. Just something that maybe every month, every 2 months, we can update something in there, just so that way it shows we're a little bit more up with technology. That was my suggestion.
I'm seeing Mark write that down, if you were finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that, so I went through a refresh in my previous district, and they actually have exactly what you're talking about. They have a news feed that what we try to do is each building every week or so, or every 2 weeks, did like a news feed with pictures that showed some of the stuff that was going on. So I don't believe we have that capability, but certainly I can inquire with K-12 Media about that. This was a total redesign and a total different website than the previous district had, and it was it was the newest version of their software that they had. So I could reach out to K-12 Media and inquire if they have that function in their software to do something like that.
Would it be okay, Mark, that we ask for follow-up by the next regular board meeting on that? Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Hearing and seeing none. We have one more, I believe, other business matter, and that is both myself and Secretary Willis's update from the board legal workshop training we attended. And to not be redundant with the information, Secretary Willis will go, and then I will highlight some of the things that she may not highlight. Okay? Would you like the mic, Secretary Willis? No? Okay.
So I put a copy of my report from the legal workshop at the front for everybody. So I'm just gonna highlight things that I found interesting, but the full report is available. I thought it was interesting that students don't have to go through a legal process to be referred by their preferred name or pronoun. The two questions that they believe is outstanding for all school districts at this time is, does the Title IX prohibition on sex discrimination include discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity? And has the issue been squarely addressed by the U.S. Supreme Court or the U.S. Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals? They also offer best practices for our dress code. Transgender and gender non-conforming students have the right to dress in any manner consistent with their gender identity or gender expression. So I felt like that specific language should be in the dress code and probably our policy, any policy related to the dress code. And then the second one was that the everyday dress code should be gender neutral and should be applied equally, i.e. the girls should not be getting more dress code violation than the boys. And then number 3, schools should consider gender neutral dress codes for the class. Yearbook photos, honor honor society ceremonies, graduation ceremony, dances, and other special events. Then there was a lot of talk about parent rights. I think the one about immunizations is pretty public, but there was one that said there's now a vision test. I'm not sure when that became in there, but you can now do vision tests with a written statement regarding religious conviction so that you don't have to do the vision screening. They also have updated for the Pledge of Allegiance that pupils are not compelled against the pupil's objection or their parents' objection to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. And then there were lots of curriculum that the parents have the option to take their children out of the class with a written statement on sex ed and health education and substance abuses. And then the last thing was the Public Act 213 of 2022. I don't know if we do this, but it says it requires the school board to ensure that Article 8, Section 1 of the Michigan Constitution and Section 10 of the Michigan Revised School Code are posted in the room where we have our school board meetings, also in the office of the school board administration building, and in the principal office of each building operated by the district. The premise of it is to make sure that parents are understanding of what their rights are and know where how to get to the Michigan School Code.
All right, any questions about that information? All right, so my feedback is, and thank you, Secretary Willis, for that. So I just wanted to highlight a few things that I learned from that training, which is that in the next, I want to say coming year or years, like in recent times, the way that like the district bargains with the union will look very differently, and it was so many different things that will be changing as it relates to bargaining, and it was just so difficult for me to unpack. But luckily, we have legal counsel who's mainly responsible for executing that. But again, it's a lot of laws, it's a lot of changes, and it's something that they want boards to be aware of, but it's not something we have to take a deep dive in knowing and understanding like our Social Security numbers. But again, I can let you guys know what those laws or those changes will be. But again, they overemphasize that a lot of changes are coming as it relates to negotiations and bargaining. Just want to touch on Open Meetings Act things. Something that surprised me, because I know this is a topic that comes up at our board meetings, is that when there is a, let's say for instance, a policy committee meeting, and a member of the board comes and they're not a part of that committee, it's seen to be a bad idea for that reason, because it can easily be interpreted as a quorum and deliberation. So while it's not a direct violation for a non-committee member but board member to be there, it's considered a bad idea because again, it could be seen as deliberation or that a quorum is there. Another thing that I just want to highlight very briefly is another thing related to the Open Meetings Act is that if there are group text messages going on, and even if like you are in that group text as a board member and it's 4 of you and you're not responding, that's still a direct violation of Open Meetings Act. So we just want to be very careful that when we're in the group chats, that there's no deliberation whatsoever. I know sometimes we say, hey, check your email, that's okay, but any back and forth conversation should not be happening when there is 4 or more members in a group chat. I'll continue.
I could, on that point,
yeah.
But if I wanted to talk to 2 board members, I could.
Yes, you could. Yep, as long as it's the quorum piece.
Right.
Yep. Just going through my notes, there was talk about attorney-client privilege in instances where we can't go into closed session and instances where we cannot. For example, if we're talking about a staff person's contract, well, not a staff person, the superintendent's, it needs to be done in open session. And I was like, oh, okay, that's something good for me to know, and it's something for all of the board members to know. And I'll say it again, if it's conversation about the superintendent's contract, it needs to be done in open session. All right, public comment. It's all about, of course, honoring the First Amendment. We never want to get in trouble with that. We never want to censor anybody's public speech. However, However, if something is happening and it's considered a breach of peace, that is when we can respectfully excuse that person out of the meeting, right? So you have to be very careful. If it's not breaching the peace, then that person should be allowed to stay. Of course, we can say point of order if it's abusive language, if it's something offensive, if it's profanity and disruptive to the meeting. However, the only time someone should be removed is if it is breaching the peace. All right. There are other reasonable rules that various boards add to the public comment section. We can't require someone to state their name and address, but it is considered reasonable if we ask for that to be done. So I know that came up in another meeting, but again, I just wanted to echo that came up in that workshop as well. All right, any questions? Hearing and seeing none. Any other business? All right, on to kudos.
So I think I've already emphasized and let everyone know all of the kudos. I think all of our staff, and that includes your leadership, certainly the committee's leadership, in getting everything ready to go for the start of school and the decisions that you guys have made. I mean, you guys purchased Chromebooks, you guys purchased Chromebook carts, all of the curriculum stuff. When I say kudos, I'm talking about my staff, but I'm also talking about the work that happens here at this table, because you guys lead the district. You guys have made some positive decisions about teaching and learning, about needs that our schools have. And so I do want to give kudos out to the Board of Education members. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We don't hear that often. All right, Secretary Lewis.
Were there no kudos submitted by staff?
The answer that Mark is giving is.
Yeah, we don't have any that have been submitted yet.
All right. Motion to adjourn our regular meeting at 9:01 p.m. Motion and so moved by Trustee Nasser. Is there support? Support. Supported by Trustee Belkowski. Is there discussion? Again, I just want to say congratulations and welcome Mrs. Iroff to the board. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything that you do for the district. All right, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Dyer.
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Yes. Trustee Belkowski.
Yes.
Trustee Nasser. Yes. Trustee Fellini. Yes. Trustee Wall.
Yes.
Trustee Gator.
Yes, motion carries.